Hello and welcome. It is 6 o'clock. Hey there, I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative, and welcome to the 6 o'clock club. I'm flying solo tonight. Um, we should have had a guest, but unfortunately they couldn't make it. So hopefully we'll catch up with Gary at some point instead. Still, plenty of things to talk about. Hello in chat. If anybody is there with me at the moment, shout up, say hi. So it's been a busy week for Twisted Towers. Um, Trying to remember everything happened. Monday um, we had 6 o'clock club. We launched a few videos, um, and that was a great conversation I had with Christian. It's well worth a sort of click back. We were talking about all sorts of things, games from the previous weekend and how they went, and what was due this week. Then rapidly, Tuesday caught up with us. We had the 6 o'clock club again, and then a fantastic vampire game, which we covered in the Wednesday 6 o'clock club. And then Wednesday, we had the 6 o'clock club that we talked about the vampire game, but we also talked about Shadow Dark once again, because on Wednesday night we went into pre-record mode and we managed to generate characters, and then we pre-recorded a session zero. It was a light session zero, but very entertaining, where we covered all the bases, got everybody onto the same page about the actual play for Shadow Dark, and also managed to find some character hooks between the characters. Again, that's available on video. If you look down, I'll probably put that one in the comment section below, the link to it. But we also pre-recorded a prologue to the actual play, which is Shadow Dark Tales from the Smoke. It's only about 15 minutes long, but it kind of establishes the setting and gets character descriptions off the ground, so that when we move into session one, which we should be pre-recording on Wednesday the 5th of April, so it'll probably be out in the wilds, as it were, on the 6th. I'm very keen to get it released, provided the gods of technology don't hinder us. But I'll talk about Wednesday night a little bit, because I've not had real sort of chance to do it. It was a fantastic experience, really, not just doing the pre-record. I'll come on to that in a minute, but rolling characters first and foremost, because Shadow Dark takes quite an old school approach to such a thing. Fundamentally, there are 6 statistics, as there are in many other games: strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and you roll 3d6, but you don't place them as you roll them. They fill up those slots. So if you get a 9 for strength, that's where the 9 goes in strength, and you go down that. So you don't necessarily know the class of character you're playing, unless you want to play something very, very suboptimally, until you've rolled the stats, and then you choose your ancestry, and then you choose your class. But it was great fun. It was kind of almost liberating, because you didn't come to the table with any kind of preconceptions. You didn't know what you were going to play, so you didn't sort of, I'm going to play this kind of character, I'm going to be this. It was like, we'll roll this, and then the players had to have conversations about, well, do we kind of need a priest, for some healing magics, so I'll be that. And they chose the best they could be making up this party. Um, and it was very interesting. I say very refreshing to do some of that. Um, None of the characters are fully optimized. They have strengths, they have weaknesses. And it's going to be interesting to see how they operate in the game, because what should be said is stats in this style of game aren't the be all and end all of it. Um, if you could reasonably succeed in doing something, you don't roll for it. So if you're actively looking for traps and they've not been concealed, um, if you're taking that time to do it, you'll find it. Um, I've been following a thread of conversation. So how does this work then? Because surely you should play your stats as your character, and there's a different emphasis and different feel to it. Um, in the fact that you might think a 3 intelligence is incredibly dumb, but that's in other systems. Um, it's all relatable. Your stats are relatable um, to kind of the real world instances. So the lowest stat you can have is 3 points, but that is relatable to the perhaps weakest person that you know, or the unhealthiest person you know. It doesn't kind of go, well, a 10 is what normal people are, and then everything else beneath that goes down to sort of animals. And if you get a 3, you have the intelligence of an ooze. That's not how it works. So you have to sort of take that on board as well. And relating back to what I was saying about skill checks, you only do skill checks when you're either under time pressure or it's a challenge to you, and then you call for skill checks. Um, so, and they're not skill checks because there are no skills in Shadow Dark. Um, you have ability checks instead, which is kind of like skill checks in a way. But if you want to try and force a door open, you might have to do a strength check, for instance. If you've got a crowbar, it gives you advantage, for instance. If the bars are old and rusty, the DC will be much lower. And if it's below that 9 that you need, you will automatically succeed in getting through. And in these rules light systems as well, there's so much more scope for you to say, well, I'm going to spend 10 minutes, an hour, sort of picking out the mortar of the bar where the bars are set, so that we can move them a little bit more. You can think outside of, no, you need to use this skill for this challenge, which makes it, I think, a more appealing game, because you can use your imaginations, you can use your creativity to overcome problems, which I very much like. So it's going to be interesting. There is not a debate, but a discussion going on about, is Shadow Dark just a dungeon crawler? And with our Tales from the Smoke sort of mini campaign, who knows? It might get extended. Um, we're going to do a lot of narrative as well, so it's going to be interesting to see if the game holds up to role playing. I believe it will. I've played old school games, I've played lots of games that have been rules light, and they've never stopped people role playing. So very much looking forward to that. If you want to look at either of those session zeros or the prologue, I'll put those links in the video here as well. And then we move onto Thursday, which was yesterday. The days just flowing by. Thursday, I was all out of gas. There was no 6 o'clock club on Thursday, unfortunately. We're having gas roadworks outside our house, all up and down the main road, and it's been an issue for a while. They came to do our house recently, and yeah, it all got messed up. So currently, we don't have a boiler that is working. We have gas supply on now, but yesterday we didn't. It was all out of it, and that wasn't a problem streaming because we still had power. But what was a problem was engineers were coming in and out and trying to fix it. They were very good at sort of the customer service and everything. No complaints there. But I had to be on hand to do stuff, so we couldn't do a 6 o'clock club. But I did manage to run Thursday night's game. Now we can call this up because we've got a graphic. Woo! There we go. Call of the Netherdeep was on last night, and great fun. There was normally in it is Jack, Joe, M, James, Michael, and Connor. But unfortunately, Joe and M couldn't make it, so it was Jack, James, Michael, and Connor in last night's game. And they had delved deep into the horrors of Betrayer's Rise, this abyssal fortress. Were level 5, and they were coming across some quite horrible things, horrible otherworldly kind of traps and creatures. Um, they finally worked out, and I don't want to say too much because spoilers. Call of the Netherdeep is a pre-written adventure from Wizards of the Coast. I highly recommend it. They worked out a way to descend down, which they did descend down to an altar, and they managed to do what they needed to do, and they found out a lot more information. They managed to level up and escape the Betrayer's Rise. There was one or two moments of suspense when they came face to face with some familiar faces, but again, spoilers, so I don't really want to say much because you might be playing it. You never know. There is a chance if we have any people watching this either now or in the future, they might be playing Call of the Netherdeep, so I don't really want to do that. And we left on a cliffhanger as they were teleported away, and that's where we ended it. They left, but they hadn't arrived as yet, so they're not entirely sure where they're going to arrive. They know where they should be arriving, but whether that place is going to be the same thing or not, we will find out in 2 weeks' time. So, super fun game. Had a blast with it. Great set of characters, large amounts of narrative and role playing, and there was a couple of nice twists and turns in there. So thank you very much, everybody that played in that last night. It was very, very cool. Hello, Kyle. Hello, Michael. I've seen that you're in chat. My chat box should be working, but it doesn't seem to be. Let me have a look. I preset it up for something else. Oh, it's me being an idiot. Haha. Someone say something in chat, please, and it should hopefully come up on the screen now. So, to speak to the two comments in chat at the moment, Kyle is saying, coming from 5th, the stats were shocking. Yeah, it is. And I think what you need to bear in mind is, we're talking about Shadow Dark, is it's a different game. You can't relate to one set of stats to the other set of stats because it is a different game and everything runs sort of differently. There we go. Thank you very much, both of you. It's working now. Hopefully you can see your fine words of chat in the little box below me. It means I don't have to keep switching screens, and it's quite nice to see your comments coming up in chat as well. And leaning back to the other mention in chat, Michael said it was lovely, such a nice spot. I'm assuming you are talking about Betrayer's Rise there. It was, yeah, it was I think very well written. I had one or two thoughts on sort of the layout of it. But overall, I think it was very good, and it was interesting because I sometimes like to raise these questions with my players at the table, and they all felt that it was a horrible place to be in, and it was well written for that circumstance. So, well done to the writers of Call of the Netherdeep. I am loving the game overall. I think it is a very wonderful role play experience. It might be up there for me with Dragon's Heist, which I really really like as well. So there you go. That was Thursday. Then we here 6 o'clock club. Tonight is Friday. It just always reminds me of a program that was on back in the day called Crackerjack. Um, I don't know whether anybody remembers that, but yeah, it was always on a Friday. Oop. Ah. Okay, so tonight, let us call up Friday's game for you. Friday's game is, of course, the very well known now Collateral Damage. We've got Ben, Charlotte, Michael, Stuart, Richard, Ryan, and V in the game. And it's a weekly game, 5th edition again. Perhaps I should change these things. Michael says, "Oh yes, Crackerjack. I thought you might remember it. It was great." Um, yeah, weekly game of 5th Ed, been going on forever, in a good way. The characters are 18th level now, and they threw their 18th level might around last session. It was quite nice to see as they quite easily handled the whole tribe of murderous cannibals, dealing them justice and rescuing some soldiers that had been dragged away. So that was very fun to see. They are now deep in, well, no, not deep. They are in the jungles of Cult, and they'll be questioning said rescued soldiers, no doubt, and finding out a little bit more about what's going on. Maybe we shall see. But it's a real fun game. It's got a Friday night feel to it. Everybody has finished the week at work more or less, and everybody's ready to kick back, have some fun, maybe drink a few beers, and it's got very much that feel to it. I love it. Then we move to Saturday. No 6 o'clock club on Saturday, but we do have 3 games on. We have Dungeon of the Mad Mage with Josh, Ian, Jocelyn, Pete, Anand, and Richard. Michael's just realised there is a delay. Yeah, there is a delay. It'll come through in a little while, but yeah, there is a little bit of a delay there. And it's the mega dungeon, the 5th edition mega dungeon, basically the dungeon that exists beneath Waterdeep, the yawning portal, the iconic tavern. Has a sort of a well that leads down to the first level, and it's layers upon layers. There's a lot of exploration, a lot of traps, and also, very surprisingly for a mega dungeon, a huge amount of role playing going on there. They've got themselves in a little bit of a pickle, and they are in a quite important combat at the moment. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Again, don't want to give too much away because of spoilers. Then immediately after that, at 1 o'clock, we've got Greyhawk Unbound, a 10th level game, and we've got John, Wayne, Simon, and Elle in that. And it's great. I love this one. I mean, I love all the games, but I love them for different reasons. This is 5th edition, but everything that I love about Shadow Dark, sort of that old school mentality, that the system actively promotes. These are not all old school players, but some of them are, and it's Greyhawk is an old school campaign setting as well. And it's kind of got the fifth edition feel to it, uh, but that old school feel to it as well. Um, the players, there's a lot of in and out of character banter between them, and it feels like a group of teenagers sitting around a table, throwing some dice and having a blast, which is great. What you want from a game, or what a lot of people want from games. Michael has said Dungeon and Man Mage, great role play and politics. You've got fond memories. Yeah, we kind of miss your characters, but we are also aware that sometimes life gets in the way. But speaking of Michael, he returns again in Saturday Night's Spelljammer Cosmic Rain. We've got Jack, we've got Sky, we've got Cara, we've got Michael, we've got Adam, and we've got Kyle in that game, and very much looking forward to this. They've currently arrived on this planet of sentient fauna. Um, there is something that is wounding the planet, this almost Gaia-esque experience, and they very kindly offered to go off and have a look. They got attacked by some wildlife, these four-armed apes last session, but they are making their way deeper into the forest to try and uncover whatever horrors are there. Very much looking forward to that one as well. For me, it's got all of the things I like about Dungeons and Dragons, but it's kind of got a little bit of a sci-fi Guardians of the Galaxy superhero-esque kind of feel to it as well. It's kind of fairly psychedelic, and I'm very interested to see where it's going to go. Okay, and then that up. We've got Kyle saying, very much looking forward to Spelljammer. Still not quite sure what we're going to do against, but I'm sure it will be fun. And Michael says, agreed. You are indeed both in chat and both playing tomorrow night. Then there is something else that is happening Saturday before I go on to Sunday's games, and I am super excited about this. I do need to mention it again. It's been a long time in both the design and the writing and everything else, really. We thought it was probably going to be launched January, and because we wanted to get everything right, it's going to be launched tomorrow, 25th of March, which is tomorrow, Saturday, 25th of March. It's not our Kickstarter. It is Dragon's Forge, who are a fantastic company doing some incredible miniatures. And they're kickstarting the miniatures, but they decided this time they wanted to put a sort of one-shot module alongside the range of miniatures. So you've got something that you could use the miniatures with, as well as having something that will fill. I think you could easily fill a couple of sessions with this, 3-hour sessions, maybe longer if you use use one or two of the appendix, which has got kind of the small description of the village of Scratchin and some other bits and pieces as well. But both myself and Matt, we co-wrote the riddle of Rockwood Bog, and it's amazing. I think this is the first time that I'm actually going to have something in print. It's only available as a PDF, but who knows if things go really well. We're we don't know whether the product could be physical product, or future ones we might get commissioned for and they might go physical as well. It very much depends on the demand, but I'm super excited just to be part of this experience. Both Matt and myself are working on some other things as well. If we do get recommissioned by Dragon's Forge, they've got some other fantastic miniature lines that they perhaps want books to be associated with. And both Matt and I are working on something at the moment, which might be our own Kickstarter or might be just direct via drive-through or something else. Everything is hinging on this, and we're very keen to see how it goes, and all of that happens tomorrow. So I'm very giddy about it at the moment. So I couldn't help but share that. Before we come to Sunday. Now, Sunday we've got 2 games on. We've got Mythical, which is Casper, Natasha, Ian, Jack, Marcus, and Anand. They are battling their way through this complex with cultists in this sort of desert that there are the sands of time in. And they are beset by some terrifying undead at the moment, and they are halfway through that battle, so it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think Ian can make this one because he's going to be going on his holidays, so happy holidays to you. But I'm looking forward to see how they resolve that. And then straight after that, we've got Eberron, a weekly game. Myself and Christian, who plays in it, have chatted about it multiple times. That's got Jenny, Jocelyn, Rachel, Tony, Christian, and Becca. Sometimes Becca has an awful lot of air miles. She's traveling all over the world with her job, super busy, but when they can make it, it's immense fun. So fingers crossed, Becca, you can make it. I don't think you can make this one, but certainly next week. So looking forward to all of that, and there will be a game on Sunday night as well, probably going on at 8 o'clock. It might be a pre-record or it might be me live, depending on what happens, basically. So watch out for that as well. For those of you who are interested in the Shadow Dark sort of setting, the Tales from the Smokes Shadow Dark setting, as I say, just as a reminder, we have the Session Zero video and we have the prologue video currently available on YouTube. That's a good primer for you. Hopefully get your excitement ready for when the actual play launches. I'm launching videos, very quick videos, sort of 10 minutes each day. We did the first one today that basically shows you the character sheet of the players, and you can see how radically different it is to sort of 5th edition or other games like that. So that is it. Super busy week. I mean, I think it goes without saying though that next Tuesday we're going to do a pre-record of Riddle of Rockwood Bog. We're going to cherry pick some of the better encounters out there. They're all brilliant, but the ones that are more favourable for online play, and we're going to run a game of it. We'll do it as a pre-record. I believe that once again both Kyle and Michael in chat are both playing in that. I say we'll do it as a pre-record, and that should be launched on Wednesday, and hopefully will then be linked to the Kickstarter page as well. So hopefully we'll get lots of people viewing it, and it'll be very entertaining for them, and hopefully it'll twist their arms to go, you know what, I'm going to back this Kickstarter. Only time will tell, but wow, I'm just looking at that. There's a big smile on my face. I am super excited for this, for tomorrow. For me, it's like Christmas. It's like, yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to sleep tonight. We shall see. It depends how much alcohol I drink in Collateral Damage tonight. Well, that is it for the 6 o'clock club tonight and this week. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you for taking part. All of those links that I've mentioned, there'll be the link to the Kickstarter, the link to the Shadow Dark campaign stuff, will be in the comment section below. Give them a look, give them a watch if you are interested. Really appreciate it. And if you do and can, please give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out. Have a great weekend, whatever you do, and I will catch you hopefully, if not before, on Monday for the next 6 o'clock club. Have a good one.